Have you ever wondered what's the opacity percentage and the fill percentage of a layer in Photoshop? Well, sometimes it can be confusing because I'll tell you why. Let me just duplicate this layer and I'll hide the layer below it. And if I change the opacity like this, it looks the same. And if I change the fill, still looks the same. It doesn't really change that much. So, what does it do? Well, in a very concise point, opacity changes the opacity of a layer as a whole, including all of its effects and outline and close and stuff like that. And fill only affects the contents of the layer and not its maybe like effects that you have added to it, or maybe the projection that it's being projected as on a blending mode. So let me just duplicate two layers here. So layer 1 is already here. Let me just make another one, and then we will make it to color burn, and also this one to color burn, and then we'll hide this one, and I'll change this to 50%, and then for this I'll change the fill to 50%. And well, if we hide this, it looks like this. But if we hide this, you see that the projection for the projection is changing as, the opacity is changing as a whole for the color burn blending method for layer 1. But for layer 1, it's the fill is 50%, and then if I change it, you see that the projection is changing instead of changing the layer opacity as a whole. It's more commonly used in a scenario where it's you have to use a text layer. So something like, maybe if you want to write it, let's say I want to write it maybe maybe beautiful or something like that, and now you want this to have an outline, and you want this to have an outline, but you don't want the insides to be filled. So we can just double click it, go to blending options, and then we'll go to outer glow right here, and then we can change its color. Let's just make it a bit more visible so that you can see, and click OK. Maybe spread it a bit, maybe something like this. And then if I change the fill of this layer, make it 0, the insides are gone, but the effects are still there. But if I were to change its opacity, let's make it full, and I'm going to change its opacity now, and this will just make the whole layer invisible. So that's the difference between fill and opacity in Photoshop. Thank you for watching, and well, like the video if you like it, if it helped.